up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Empowered Conversations, where I have amazing conversations with extraordinary people who are out in the world just doing beautiful things in service to others and just all around living their best lives. And guys, Fernando is one of the people, one of the coaches, one of the leaders who's going to be out at the ultimate quantum retreat with me and 12 other fabulous freaking people. I'm so excited. Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, May 13th to the 15th. He's one of the speakers. He's going to be doing an aromatherapy touch. There's going to be so much engagement, interaction. So we're raffling off like prizes. I'm raffling off one of my cookbooks. Fernando is raffling off an amazing aromatherapy touch session. Y'all, it's going to be so much fun. There will be links to sign up. Come one, come all. Hear ye, hear ye. Guys, I got to tell you all about Fernando. So, Fernando is a martial arts professional with experience of 50 years in practice and 39 in teaching. He is also a 7 times world champion and holder of 6 world records. Holy cow! Fernando is a consultant and life skills, confidence, and well-being coach in the areas of personal development, sports, and business. He has a certification in values-based strategic leadership by the International Center for Strategic Studies. He is an educational consultant in violence prevention, personal, organizational, and community safety. Fernando has been a speaker in Peru, Brazil, the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and the United States with various organizations, including Champions for Life. His programs, projects, and career have recognized him with an Ibero-American Master of Educational Excellence and doctorate in philosophy of education by the Ibero-American Council for Educational Excellence. Whoop, whoop, everybody, drum roll, please. I just scared Simon. Help me in welcoming Master Fernando. Hold on, I'm looking at his picture here. Fernando Camareno.
Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you
the
for
word
that
master.
introduction.
You're so fabulous. The word master, like, wait, Fernando, wait, what? It's so funny, when you're reading something and then a word, gets thrown in that you're not like, what? Bleh? I just do a little funny face and keep going. Thank you so much for joining me. And you, where are you? You said you're in Arlington, Texas?
I right now in Arlington, Texas. I'm a cowboy.
You're a cowboy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was gonna repeat words of a song, but I think I'll refrain. Um, so yeah, well, I really appreciate you joining me today. It's so exciting to have you. It's so freaking excited. I'm like through the roof, like jumping out of my skin, excited about our retreat in May.
Yes, it's gonna be amazing retreat. Nobody cannot miss that retreat.
Oh,
It's so many people, and I'm ready to learn.
yeah, exactly. Because I'm
Mhm.
ready to learn from all you guys. Like it's like a diverse group of people from various backgrounds, various specialties, and heart-centered offerings all together. And I just think it's going to be a well-rounded conference for anyone looking to up level their life, put themselves in a higher state of vibration.
Yeah, yeah,
You
it's
know,
gonna be like that. And there is a one common denominator, and is that all the staff team is in the same page, in the same energy.
yes,
So that's
absolutely.
something that's something that is very difficult to find it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of like the diversity, it's like, so I'm coming in there with like health and wellness and healthy food. You're coming in there with something like aromatherapy and touch and the value, of that and what that does.
Mhm.
For our mentally, physically, and then we've got people, in the realm of meditation and Reiki energy work. It's like, wow, you know?
Yes, that's what that's gonna be part of. one of my gift that I'm gonna bring to the retreat. But um, I'm gonna be more the resilience part of my story
Hmm.
and how to apply it um, to any circumstances in life, and because you know in the process of life we learn a lot, we study a lot, but it's not the same when it's your real life story that teach you more about what you're gonna say. So
Hmm.
that's something that is what is in my heart.
Hmm.
Many years ago, for the last, I think for the last 30 years, I dedicate my life to three areas. One is my personal development and my
Hmm.
spiritual development. Two, my love for the martial art. As you say, I'm celebrating this year my 50th anniversary. And third, my passion for develop uh, programs with a scalability uh, growth focus on the wellness or well-being projects. That's the three main things that put my heart on fire every day.
I love that, Fernando. And I love what you just said about putting your heart on fire. And so you mentioned something about like the resiliency. So, one of my very first questions, I like to get real deep and understand my guests' why. You've mentioned what lights your heart on fire, and you've mentioned resiliency. What all epiphanies or experiences or things that did you go through, persevere through, that brought you to where, I mean, I know you've been martial arts, for like for 50 years. That, is a discipline, within itself.
Mhm.
But what other things led you to the personal development piece? And then again, the wanting to like to empower others through that, like in their own personal development.
Well, that's a very interesting question because, I found that everything we as a human we have certain abilities, uh, uh, and two of those one is your ear
Hmm.
and your eyes. Whatever came in through your ears and whatever came through your eyes can make a powerful result on your life for positive or negative way.
Absolutely.
So I started martial art when I was 6 years old.
Hmm.
But when I was, because my father was a martial artist too, and but when I was 8 years, I was in activity where it were a world champion there, and after he finished his seminar, I was in a line for taking an autograph. And when I stepped in front of him,
Yeah.
he looked at me. He stepped up from the chair. He take off his belt. He put it in my waist, and he told me very serious. If you learn how to focus in your life, you will you will get everything that you want in your life. Even you can be a world champion.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he was telling the truth or if he tell that to a lot of people to make him feel great because I was feeling poof, like a superstar.
Yeah.
But I
Mhm.
decided to believe on him. Say, wait
Absolutely.
a minute. He say, so my next day I start training because I want to become a world champion. And I was getting prepared for my first tournament. I lost in the first fight. I went to the second tournament. I lost in the first fight. I went to the next 13 tournament, all of them losing in the first fight.
Right.
But the next one, the last one, I was very mad and I throw my glove to the floor and I say, this is over. One instructor came to me. I say, hey, blonde guy. Usually, I used to have hair.
Really?
And he asked me, what are what a winner means? What a winner means? And I was so mad. I say, somebody that wins every time. He say, no, that's not a winner. A winner is somebody that lose so many times, and one time he get tired of losing. And in my mind, as I was, he's talking about me.
Hmm.
So I came back to the next tournament. I get to the second place. Came back to the next one. I came back to the third place, and the next one I became the first place. Since that, I never lost during my that period of time until 16 years old. I was never lost again. So I won many recognition, many awards, a trophy, all this stuff. But something that hit me very hard was when I was 16 years old.
Hmm.
Uh, my mom dies at that moment, and it was something that you don't expect it. I was 16 years
Fernando, you cut out. I'm
and what happens?
okay.
I cut out.
Yeah, like you said.
I'm back.
Yeah, yeah, you're back. So your mom died when you were 16 years old. If you could just retell what
Yes,
you were saying. Thank you.
yes. So it was very painful. It was
Mhm,
very. I didn't know what happened in my life. So I get so sad that I start to look to find joy or happiness in different things. I start using alcohol. I start using marijuana. I start using party all the time. So my professional career start going down, and I was losing control.
mhm,
And 4 years later, my father died in an accident. So that time I was so depressed that my family came from a poor family, but they worked very hard and they developed a big business, a millionaire business in
mhm,
Puerto Rico, where I'm from. And when that happened, everything went down.
mhm,
And I was so depressed at that time that uh, I lost all my money in 14 months. And I became for 3 months and a half almost like a homeless. Uh, you know, I was totally unrecogn- nobody can recognize me.
right.
So coming out from that, uh, I was painting a house, and when I was almost finished the house, I moved the ladder, and when I moved the ladder, I didn't see that there were electrical cables in the top, and I touched the cable, so I received an impact of 13,570 volts.
Oh my
So my body uh, was, to the ladder, and when the transformer exploded, my body went down to the floor, and I saw a light that was close in my hand, in my eyes, in front of my eyes, and disappears. So I went to a place. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's here. I don't know where it is.
God. Mhm,
But I see a lot of darkness, but I cannot see myself. And I hear a lot of voices yelling,
mhm,
crying. And in that anxiety and scare that I was, I yelled, Lord, and I hear a voice that shout all what I was hearing, and he said, "You have a chance. Look for that, and you're gonna find it." And I came back after 25 minutes, lay down in the floor, totally burned. I have second and third degree burns in my legs. I was totally carbonized, my mouth, everything, a lot of pain. So in that process, um, went to the hospital. 3 days later, my body stopped moving from my waist to my legs. So I have sensitivity, but I cannot move. And my foot were each all of those each one were like this big, and
Hmm.
they have to clean it up with the brush two
Yeah.
times daily,
Yeah.
and it was very painful.
Yeah.
So, making the story long short, I was recovered for 14 years, and during that process, I gained a lot of weight. I I was an old man in a 38 years old body that time, 2004. But I I was working in summer camp for special needs kids that were with the condition of diabetes type 1.
Hmm. Okay.
So those kids didn't have the chance to born healthy on that aspect. Just
Right.
they
I see.
born with that, they have to deal with that all their life.
Right.
So I was working with them as a martial art instructor for a summer camp, and I was very impressed
For
by the process
You're cutting out again.
that we were have to check the yes. I'll come back. I'm
Okay.
back. So they were checking the blood every half an hour, because we changed from activity. If they have the sugar up, they have to do some activity. They have down, they have to drink or eat something,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
constantly. So it was like a Russian roulette, and one of the nurse, she told me, Master Camareno, you have to take care of your health. And I was uh, very big. I've been very healthy all my life.
Hmm.
I never get sick. So uh, so I say, no, I'm good. My everything is very good. He said, no. You know what is the metabolic syndrome? Have you
Yes.
heard about that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Hmm.
So you have to check on that, because that's the process where the body is creating the diabetes type 2.
Hmm.
But the problem is that there is no way that you can do any kind of test to see how is the syndrome going. You cannot see it. You can be good today, and tomorrow, boom, it's over.
Right.
But there is some profiles that you can be aware about that. So in my case, the profile was um, Hispanic American, between 5'7" and 5'9" of height, and 40 and 38 inches of weight or more
Around your waist.
on waist.
Yeah.
So I'm 5'9", I'm Hispanic. In that moment, I had 42 inches of weight.
Right.
So I went back to my home thinking it would be very irresponsible of myself that being
Thank you.
healthy, born healthy, because my lack of diligence and discipline, I developed a healthy problem that I didn't born, and those kids didn't have a chance.
Exactly.
So I start to find different ways to change healthy habits, and I did many diets, things like that.
Hmm.
But I found a nutritional cleanse technology that helped me to bring my health back, my way back. And that's when, from 2004 until 2009, I have the opportunity to win 7 world championship and 6 world records at that age, between my 38 years and my
Hmm.
46. So
Hmm.
that was something that was very impossible for it's not usual, but I have my life back.
Right.
So um, before of that, going back a little, When I decided to make my first record, it was because during my process of recovery, I was always looking in the TV and ESPN, the world champions teams from ESPN on martial art, that
Hmm.
every year they were in a big competition and they were breaking bricks and blocks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was very fan of this team. So later, though, that team came to Puerto Rico and I have the opportunity to meet them. And in that moment, I had a radio program of martial arts. So I invited to my
Right.
program and we make friends. We became friends and they invite me to be part of their team as a competitor. For me, it was like a,
Yeah.
but I came to the competition in a wild card, and it was the last opportunity for 18 competitors for being included in the world championship list. So from 18 competitors, only the first 12 passed to the finals. So that time was my first experience competing that level. I get a ninth place. So I qualify in the
Hmm.
12, but then I realized that, oh, this is the big leagues and I have to make some adjustments. So then I went to a tour with the team and with ESPN, Discovery Channel, all those uh,
Nice.
majors. And and when I came back to Puerto Rico, I say I have to do something that I can bring my message and that will be kind of impact more than what I am doing it. So
Hmm.
I decided to make a world record of breaking the most bricks, cement bricks with one hand in 1 minute. So the record was 200 bricks. That
Uh-huh.
time I was uh, looking for breaking 300 bricks in 1 minute. So I didn't broke that time 300 bricks. I broke 310, and
So
when
wait, the world record was 200 and you broke 310.
yeah, but my I was looking for 300, but what I see on there is that my Lord gave me the 300 that I wanted, and then he gave me 10 more for telling me that it was not with my power that was in him.
You, you know what I love about your story is in the very beginning when you first started talking, I think you're 6 and your Reiki, your Reiki master, your master, um, it's not karate. Is it karate? No,
Yeah.
martial arts master. What he said to you was true because
Mhm.
everything is a mindset. And one of my favorite, sayings is whether you think you can or whether you think you can't. Either way, you're
Mhm.
right. And everything is the power of belief. And you believed. So, and then throughout your life, you've had some major setbacks, losing 2 parents, getting burned, electrocuted and burned, and then going through a cycle and a journey, your journey, alcoholism and drugs and almost homelessness. But then there was always this part of you that brought you back. And it's like the universe constantly tapping you on the shoulder, try this, do this. When you were having your diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and the person, was like, your metabolic syndrome, you're experiencing metabolic syndrome. And there was always this will to overcome. And because people who are successful in the world and like some of the biggest players in the world making the biggest impact, they have gone through peril over and over and over. They've been knocked on their ass over and over and over, some through their own choices, some through whatever circumstances. But it's like, I love how you just kept getting back up and fighting, kept and get back up and
You know,
fighting for your life.
not all my life has been like that. At the beginning, the first hard time that I live. Yeah, I was very depressed, and I was.
Right.
But one day, I met this gentleman. His name is Dr. Jose de Batista. He's the founder of the um, Identity Through Values
Hmm.
psychology, and this is the latest official psychology. Um, I don't know, way to study.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I met this guy in 2000, and
Hmm.
I was driving my car, and he was in the radio, and I was so impacted with what he was talking that I have to pull over, and I was crying, and hearing that I didn't hear who was he or not. I was just phew, totally getting in a liberation process.
Hmm.
So, but then like 2 weeks later, I hear that voice again in the radio. They say, "Okay, now I'm gonna pay attention because I want to
Hmm.
know who's this guy."
Hmm.
So he was inviting for the um, certification on the in that moment the identity theory was just a theory.
Right.
It was not proven yet. So yeah, I went there. Like 125 people registered, and only five finished. I was one of those five. But basically, um, what I learned over there, because this is something very is very deep. It's very simple, but it, we can talk a lot of things about the
Hmm.
identity. But basically, the human being have a big problem, and it's that they're always looking to do something or to have something because the human being is always looking on how to be because they don't realize that they already are.
Right. Hmm.
So people are struggling themselves because for be somebody they have to know, they have to have, and and you have a value that it was given to you.
Hmm.
And before Fernando Camareno, there was not any other Fernando Camareno. And after Fernando Camareno, there's not going to be another Fernando Camareno like
Right.
me.
Right.
So that
Hmm.
means that I'm a unique person. I have my gift, I have my talent, I have my purpose in this life. And myself, I cannot do anything to add value to my value. And I cannot do anything to take out value of my value.
So what
So
you're saying is you are valued just in who you are,
I am.
regardless of what you do, what you have.
Because I am, I do.
I am. I am.
You
I am
see?
that I am. Hmm.
You see? So
Hmm.
so the people don't know that um, if you cannot take out from your value, you see, I was
Hmm.
in the streets, I was totally
Right.
out, and that didn't take out value from who I am.
Exact. Oh, exactly.
You see,
Abso-freaking-lutely.
I cannot.
Right.
But when I realized I was that because I was sad, I was, you know, I was out of value myself. But
Mhm,
when I
mhm,
realized that if I cannot take out value from me, if I cannot add value to my value,
mhm,
who
mhm.
can do it? Nobody. So automatically, for me, depression disappeared
Yeah, 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 I'm
because
gonna tell you.
nobody can take out value from me. Nothing.
Right. For I love it that you say that because it is amazing what happens in a moment. Like,
Hmm.
your life can change for the good or for the better. I mean, for the good or the worse. Like,
Hmm.
boom, and I mean, I read a lot and, follow a lot of people who are living empowered lives that, were down, down and out, just, and it's in this boom, boom. And one of my other favorite sayings is, one day I woke up and decided I never wanted to feel like that ever again. So I stopped just like that. And it took that thought of, I can't add value, I can't subtract value. I am value.
Mm-hmm.
I am that was like, and it's a chemical, it's a neurochemical shift too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you can feel it physically. Like, it's hard to, explain if you've not experienced, but I think everybody's had, it's almost like an out of body experience, like a decision is
Yeah,
made.
we already are the people.
Yes.
The people. What we need to. That's what I do. What I do because what I teach to people is you need to discover that experience of who you are. You have to discover
Yes.
yourself. You have to grow in yourself. You have to develop. You have to enjoy the process. You see, but you are not going to do all these things because the society and the educational system, they teach people on how to do
Right.
things in life.
Yeah.
They don't teach them how to be in life.
Yes. Cold chills.
You see, so that's the difference.
Hmm.
So once you know who you are, then
Yes.
you operate in your knowledge at this moment. But you have to be constantly, and the only way
Yeah.
you grow is um, I don't know the word in English. Let me see. When when okay, let me explain it. Is a cup of water and the
Yes.
water go over? What happened?
It overflows.
Yeah. So
Overflows. Yeah.
overflow. That's the word. So I forgot what I was telling.
You were talking about, like, when you come to, like, when you're at that point and it's like you're overflowing. Like, oh my gosh.
Don't
I
worry
was
about
I
it.
was so enveloped in, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you know who you are, you start looking. You see the education difference. You see the
Yes.
education difference. You see, when I learned about this in the past, I was a C- student.
Mhm.
It's not because I was not intelligent. I was lately diagnosed as a ADD,
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
ADD, whatever. So I say, okay, explain me that. Oh, that's an attention deficit disorder. Okay, and but yes, but what I do that you tell that I am that. Oh, because you can think in thousand things at the same time, very good, but you cannot concentrate in just one.
Right, right, right.
And I say, and,
Multitasking.
and I say, and I say, but that's a deficit or that's a super habit.
Exactly, thank you, because ADD, because I have ADD, ADHD, add that hyperactivity in there, and I see it as an asset because of the multitasking
Uh-huh,
that you're able to do.
uh-huh.
Whereas, I mean, but the only way that it's a hindrance is if you are needing to focus and you're having a hard time focusing.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
see it mostly as an asset, as a way of parallel
Right.
processing.
So in that process, pues, so I discovered many things of myself, but what made me free was that I became free of the emotion of the others. Why? Because when people don't know who
Right.
they are they are very weak in this aspect about um, being a slave of the reactive emotions. You
Mhm,
see, we have two kind of emotion. There is the affective emotion
mhm.
and there is the reactive emotions on people. So the reactive emotion is the one that, depending of how you are good to me, are going to be good for you.
Right.
You see, so everything is the other move first, I move second, and
Mhm.
so what is very. ironic because some people, in order to establish their respect, they say, if you want my respect,
Right.
respect you first, and then I respect you. What they're
Right.
telling is, I don't move until you say it. I don't move
Right.
until
Right.
you move.
Right. And
So
that's
who's
also
in control? Looks like
yeah.
I white. Looks like I'm fighting for my control to show out my control.
Right.
But what I'm really telling the other is, you are in my control.
And it's trance of scarcity thinking as well that creates that. Trance of scarcity.
Right. So
Yeah.
in that process, um, I learned many years ago that my value is part of my identity, because my identity is composed of three values, of the three values that we born with that.
Mhm.
See, I didn't say that we learn.
Right.
I
Right.
say three values that we born with that. So that's one big problem in the psychology and the human behaviors, because uh, when we talk about values, we think in 200 words of different things, in a big list of
Mhm.
different things, right? So that's a big problem, because maybe you hear, at least in Puerto Rico, people say, it depends the values that you've been taught where you from,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Or your
so it,
class or
so that is a problem, because what they really are saying is that I only follow the values that is easy to me to do it.
mhm.
So
Right. Right.
so how we're gonna be in a in a communion
Yes.
uh, together, that everybody's going to choose their own value that is easier for them. So that's not going to work.
Right.
So the identity theory simplified the values only on three. The first one is the dignity.
Mhm.
So the dignity is the value that was given.
Mhm.
So I already are, and because I am, I do.
Mhm.
So that doesn't the value, it doesn't matter if you have knowledge, if you're using it, if you that doesn't matter. There's people that been all his life existing in his life and never know about themselves. It's okay,
Right.
that
Right.
happens. That's
Right.
the reason we exist, because I'm hey guys, you know that you have this. That's what I do,
Yes.
what I do. That's the reason
Yes.
I coach. So
Yes.
so I share that your dignity is, if your first value that doesn't depend on you, is an absolute. It's the only
Mhm.
value that is an
Mhm.
absolute.
Mhm.
Now, the second value is the integrity. There is a problem,
Mhm.
because integrity is the process of building your character.
Mhm.
And that character will be building
All
will be built in the difference of how many decisions I take on my life based on my dignity or based on anything else. If I take decision more in anything else, my character go down.
mhm.
If I take more decision on my dignity, my character gets stronger.
Right.
And where you see reflect that on the third value, that is, well, in the word in Spanish is libertad. So it's freedom or
Freedom.
liberty. I don't know which word.
Love it.
So the freedom of what? Freedom of being free of
Mm.
the emotion of the others. Is the
Yes.
exercise is no is the exercise of being free of the reactive emotion of the others.
Mhm.
So so I don't know if you have here one word that say, if when you learn the truth, you're gonna be free, something like that. The translation. Have you heard
Yes,
about that?
right, right.
Right.
And what you're describing is truth.
Right. So the truth, with the Christian perspective, the truth have a name. It's Jesus. So he say, I'm the truth. But putting the word truth as any truth,
Right,
at any truth, there's many people that know truth, the truth, but they are not free. So
right.
something is not working.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's because the dignity is an absolute. The integrity, it depends on your decision. So every minute, every moment, you have the opportunity to decide to be with acting with your dignity on your in your dignity side, or whatever is over there as an option.
Hmm. Hmm.
So depending on that decision is gonna show you is you're gonna be having the experience of the freedom.
Right,
You see, freedom is available,
right.
but it's available through the process.
So when you live your life out of that truth, and in essence you're caring so much about other people's truths, and I always say that when you live your life caring what other people think, you are their prisoner.
Yeah.
They're holding you, you're allowing to be held in captivity when you live your life inauthentically outside of your truth, always looking for external validation, or, oh, if I say this, you know, like, I don't give a rat's ass. Stephanie shows up. That doesn't mean that, and that causes a lot of controversy for
Hmm.
those that aren't comfortable. And like, as you were speaking earlier, self-aware. Self-awareness is the greatest gift you can give yourself.
Hmm.
Knowing thyself, knowing yourself, knowing thyself is the greatest wisdom. Um, because then you're going to operate with dignity, integrity, and experience that freedom.
So think about this. We have been taught to defend our dignity. And do I need to defend my dignity?
No, right,
No,
right, right, right.
no,
Yeah,
because
right,
that my dignity, my value is untouchable. Even myself, I cannot add not. I cannot do nothing. I can be 20 times world champion, and it's going to add the value of who I already am.
right,
You see,
right,
and I can be very deep in the street doing nothing, and that's gonna take. It's not gonna take me out value of what I have.
right.
So
Guys, that's
so
powerful.
so everyone have that uniqueness,
Yes.
and everyone in that uniqueness has a purpose. This is like you have a street, very a highway. You have a highway. At
Hmm.
the end, is going to be an award for you. It's going to be made
Award.
it for you how you want it, the code, everything. So sometimes we take out from the road and we go off road. And then what happens when you go off road? You get in the floor,
Derailed.
you get dirty, you get caught, and then you go, oh, I go to the road. Oh, okay, now it's in my road. You see, you can be in your life going out to the off road, in road. That's your problem, but you don't need to do that. You can go straight to your goal, and it happened. But one of gurus that I follow, I learned from him that the human being learn three ways: reading, hearing,
Hmm.
or crying,
Yeah.
suffering.
Suffering. Right.
See? So
Reading.
most of my learning process has been suffering,
Yeah. And
because
yeah.
that's the real things. I'm not a perfect,
No,
but
no one is.
in my process through my perfection, there is a lot of mistake.
Absolutely. Absolutely, mistakes, and as well as what you just said, suffering, because I think of some of the things that I've suffered, you know, and and how I triumphed.
You see, nobody can move my emotion. Some
Mm,
people will say, "Oh, I took that decision because the situation put me on that in that." No, 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 no. Any situation and anybody can put you in nothing.
mm,
You decide to get there.
right. Whether
You decide.
whether it's unconscious creation.
Oh, I hit in the face, or I talk back to them in this way because I was so mad. He put me in this situation that it was too
Yeah,
much, and I exploded. And I,
right.
but the human being always, when you don't know yourself, always the fault is in the others,
Right, so you're saying that when we play the victim role,
right?
it's somebody did this to
Because
me, that happened to
this is
me.
the problem, Stephanie, and this is something. Do you have you seen an increase of violence in the world in different aspects?
You know what, Fernando? I don't God, I stay away from the news as much as I can. The only time I see it's when I'm at the gym.
But in general,
I don't you know what, to be honest, Fernando, I can't say I've seen an increase. I think it's always been there, and but they want us to believe that the world's just going to hell in a handbasket and it's just horrible,
right,
horrible. I refuse to believe
right,
that because what I do see, what I see, the
right.
mind controls what the eyes see. What I see is more people like yourself, like the
Mm-hmm,
people that we're going to be a part of this retreat that are
mm-hmm.
out here. Like in my reality, I see more people out here doing good and
Right.
expanding upon
And
who they
there is
are.
many
And
good things happening that we don't
yes,
even see.
that's I'm not saying that there's not shit happening or there's not bad stuff. I'm just saying that I choose to focus.
Right.
My radio dial is attuned to joy and what's
But
good.
let me tell you, me as an undercover in the
And I'm
ground.
not being naive either. No,
But
I'm
let me tell you what I discovered in my undercover process in the ground zero area. This is the problem. This is the things. Um, um, when the people don't know, uh, let me see how I say it in the proper way. So the violence is a result of fear.
yes.
So is the cover. I have fear. I have a kind of fear that in order to, I don't want the people discovering that on me. I will cover with violence.
Mhm. Mhm.
You see, it's a cover for the fear.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
why there is fear? Because people don't know who they are,
Yes.
and and and
Yes.
and in the past, what we call the cosmovision was what the people had at least as a reference, because in the past you can see the difference of somebody from Japan, somebody from France, somebody from Italy, somebody from US. Even in the same place, people from the north are not the same from the south, because the cosmovision is a mix of different aspects that form who are those people in their identity as when they where they are, right? But
Mhm.
what we have now, the technology has put more closer the countries. The borders disappear. We have
Yes.
been we are now a global village. So there is
100%.
no reference that we had in the past. The new generation doesn't have that reference.
You're giving
So
me
the
cold
reference
chills.
that they have now is in the internet, is in the YouTube, is in the videos, is in the unreal situation
Mhm.
life. So
Mhm.
that's a lot of increase between 18 years and 30 and 28 years. There is 7 of every 10 young adults are suffering from anxiety, stress, and depression.
Yeah.
You see, so the violence is is the cover of the fear. So
Mhm.
if I don't know who I am, so
Absolutely.
so I am. Uh, in the first day that I met Dr. Batista, the first day, he asked me, "Who are you?" And I say, "I'm Fernando Camareno." He said, "No, that's not you. That's the name that put your fathers and your mother in the hospital for making the a
Birth
difference
certificate.
between the other babies that was there."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he asked me again, "Who are you?" And I say, "Well, people know me as Master Camareno." He said, "No, that's the title that have you received for your awards and your years in martial art." And I was inside of me that, please don't ask me again because I don't know what to say. And there was 100 people over there. And he asked me again, "Who are you?" And I say, "I don't know. Tell me." And he start the certification. So that's basically what we're gonna start with. After when I finish, now if you ask me who are you, I can tell you where I'm a son of the creator on his image and same like him. That when I born here, they put me Fernando Camareno, and today's people know me as Master Camareno. That's who I am.
Speaking, people, I don't know who, we've got light worker Christina Will Spears here. And she says that this is a topic that she's been trying to explain to her daughter. And then we have another Facebook user. You're probably in one of the groups. It says, "Love it, Fernando. Awesome conversation." And I don't know who all is on, but I constantly, you know, say this. I've been saying this. Golly, I've been thinking this and saying this since like 2005. When again, I think that's when I really something really, bad happened. And it just drove me to dig deep into even more self-awareness, going deeper on that journey into self-awareness. And it hit me that there needs to be a curriculum taught in every single school around the entire world, and every
Mhm,
single school around the entire world, about self-awareness, personal growth, personal development, because what you're saying is like the greater self-awareness that you are, that you have, you're not going to operate. Doesn't mean you're not going to have fears or bullshit happen in your life, but you're not going to operate from that place of fear and lack and scarcity, trance of scarcity that so many do. And to implement something like that, a curriculum like that, where we're teaching not what to do, but like, how to be creating a greater sense of self-awareness,
mhm,
would enable a child, if they're 6, 7, 8 years old, and they see daddy beating the shit out of mom at home, or they see
mhm,
drug addiction, or they are like unfathomable stuff that people live, growing up in. But yet when they go to school every day, there's an hour a day next to spelling and arithmetic and history and PE and lunch, where they're learning the value of emotional intelligence, self awareness, personal development. You know, I just think that there would be a lot more children growing into adults who who had that that self power, that I am powerful. I create my life, and
mhm,
anything is possible. But again, it takes a consciousness, a global consciousness. We can't just do it
mhm.
here in the States. We can't just do it over in Europe. It's got to be a worldwide thing to create a worldwide consciousness of self-awareness. But again, you have to have the people in
But
charge.
there is many people in a different ways, in different specialties, and it's amazing how I learned because, for example, I had the opportunity in the past to know about this group. It's mostly are in Spanish, and those people they're doing a great education project worldwide about all of these things. And in the past, I designed a proposal for a national campaign for Puerto Rico and for Dominican
Mhm.
Republic too. and about the problem of bullying in schools.
Yes.
So uh, there is a book that I'm writing. Um, I'm writing three books, but I haven't finished none of them. But they are coming. They are coming soon.
Yes.
One is from the bully aspect. I'm gonna. My book is gonna be. It's gonna call. Uh, I'm a victim too. The
You're
side from
oh,
the.
you're I'm a victim
I'm a
too.
victim too.
Right.
The perspective from a bully.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
So nobody
Hurt
has been
people.
writing about that.
Right. Hurt people hurt people. Happy people
You
don't.
see, so I designed that there's no problem. The bully is not the problem. The bully is a victim too.
Yeah. The bully is
So
the product.
so the bully is the victim too. So you have to see as a victim. So bullying is not the problem. The problem is in a big circle. Is called school violence, and that school violence has different aspects. So in order to cover those all those aspects, you need different way of tools, and one of the tools is already a curriculum that the identity theory has from PK until 12. We already have that,
I
but
love that.
people the system is not interested in doing
Exactly.
work.
Exactly. Exactly.
They
That's
are
what I was
interested
saying. It
because
takes the
we
people
live
in
in a reactive
charge
we live in a reactive society.
and
You see?
the leaders are reacting. The leaders of the in the world organizations and they're again
We are
it take
reacting.
it's
We,
yeah.
the system doesn't want proactive people, and the proactive people are the ones that are giving impact to people. So that's the reason we do what we do, and we see the world falling down, but also we see a wall going up. Which way
Mhm.
you want to see it?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
You see, for every 1 minute of negative thought that you allowed in your mind, you need 11 positive minutes in your mind to put it back your brain to normal. So who's going to take care of what is getting here?
Um,
Me.
did you hear Yogesh last week share about actually he might have shared this when we got off. Him and I talked like 15 or 20 more minutes. I was trying to let him go to bed. But about if someone is depressed or having anxiety or having a negative episode, go look at yourself in the mirror for 40 minutes and smile. Just smile at yourself. And if you can't make it 40 minutes, make it 10, make it 5, make it a minute. It will change that neurochemistry. Um, that will then change your body chemistry, and it can take you right out of a depressive or anger or a negative episode.
Yes, that's why but going back where we were talking about that the different diversity, and this is what this kind of events of like the retreat on May that is going to bring, because sometimes people don't realize that it's one of the best investment that they can do for their life,
Hmm.
and it's not because we're going to be rich from that. We're already rich. I'm
Hmm.
rich
Hmm.
because
I'm rich.
I'm rich. So no, because is if you see only the richness in just money, oh, that's only one part
Riches
of
are.
five aspect of richness. It's a
Hmm.
holistic. Uh, I call prosperity.
Yes.
So you have to work on all those five aspects. We're going to talk about that on the retreat, but also um, when you invest in your life,
Hmm.
it's because that what you're going to learn is going to be production in a mass production for others.
Absolutely. Like dominoes.
So that's something. There's a lot of people that they are struggling themselves because they don't feel that they are able, they are capable, they are not, because they don't see their value in themselves.
Right.
So it's just like that. It's a change of mind, because you see, I have a lot of my gift since I was a kid, but that was not enough to help me in one moment in my life. But when I change in my way of thinking, and it gave me a tool for my day to
Hmm.
day. You see, for example, the first time that the people feel the fear in life,
Hmm.
because fear was not in the people in the past, but there is a story of Adam and Eve that everybody knows, right? But that's the one of the oldest book, that's the only place that is how you say, uh that it was, um ooh, it was recorded that it was the first time that the human feel fear. That's
Right. And that's false evidence appearing real.
the first time.
And that's false evidence
Right.
appearing real.
So the first thing that happened is, when and this is the way the human work. It's not changed at all. When somebody knows that he did bad, he did wrong, he did something wrong, what the people do is wrong. They disappear. They avoid you, right? So the first emotion in Adam was to run, to hide, right?
Hmm.
And every afternoon the creator were there and say, hey, what happened to you? Oh, I feel fear. And who teach you that? Because there was no fear in the past. Who teach you that? And the second thing that the human do is, you put a mask. He cover himself. People put a mask on their life. You see.
Hmm. Hmm. People hide.
And the third thing that he do, the woman that you put me here, the woman did the same. He hide, she covered, and she said the snake. So everybody
Right. Play
always,
the victim. Yeah. The
you
first
see.
original
So there's
story.
people. That's the normal operation of everybody. It's so
Hmm.
easy to see it on people.
Hmm.
I know when somebody talking to me, do something business, and he was calling every day, and then I was calling. He don't taking the call. He don't taking it. I just give it time. I know what is happening. You see. So so that, when the fear is there, you cannot be yourself.
Hmm.
So you're
You're a prisoner.
mhm. Wow, there's so many things to talk about this, that because it's applied to everything. It's applied to everything. And and when I designed the proposal for the bullies,
Hmm.
one of the aspect is, people need to know the identity, and the other thing is, they need to know, because they don't have the tools for the real sociology development. They The system assume that because they go 8-10 hours every day, and get together in educational class, they're going to be socially developed. No,
Right.
no, they need tools.
Hmm.
They need
Absolutely.
tools, and they need
Absolutely.
tools. I wrote in my profile a few days ago about, with who. No, it wasn't my program. With who is going to compete, our children's and our grandchildren, and it was a comparison of the educational system in Japan,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it was very different. And let me see. Well, I will send it to you, and you will see it, because it will take time, and I don't know how much time we have.
I actually have a client in like 25 minutes.
All right.
Yeah. So, but I did want to say Catherine XMN She says that will be an awesome book in bullying, Fernando. Get on that one. I agree. You know, I agree. Like, I just published my first cookbook, and that took, I had the recipes in a book for a while, but then I finally buckled down, got it done, and I'm in the process of writing my autobiography that I've been writing for going on 6 years.
That's
And I'm
one.
determined to get it done and published this year. But yeah, like your book, like it's that's so important. I love that. Like, I'm a victim too.
Hmm. I'm a
Hurt
victim
people
too.
hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Happy people don't. So the bully who's bullying is being bullied.
Yeah, the book is gonna have that, and it's gonna have the guide that I suggest to start establishing. Not listen, this it's not a bully proof program. No, because
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
again, we are not against the bully. We need to help the bully.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And
Is
that's what I think, if you're implementing this course curriculum about self-awareness and personal growth in
the
schools,
the goal is to develop.
less likely
Let me say. I have it in
to be
Spanish.
a bully.
Is el desarrollo de comunidades escolares seguras y en paz. It's the develop of educational community
Hmm.
in paz, in peace and security. It's
Safety, yeah.
develop educational community in peace and security. And and when I have all the process to develop in every school, I have been many years uh, helping on that. One day I give up to keep trying to convince the people, and I decide to be a voice on that
Yeah.
in some way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Through what, again, you've been able to cultivate for your own self, through your own life's challenges and disappointments, and, you know, fall on the floor.
Hmm. So yes, and the other book is my autobiography, my story. And yes, I would like to. I have another good experience in the martial arts with all my instructors, and especially my actual instructor that I just met him 12 years ago. No, wait a minute, 13 years ago already now, and the last in February 2020, I was able to move to Georgia and to work hand to hand with him.
Hmm.
And I stayed there almost 20 months. So I have over 500 hours of conversation and training with this gentleman that was one of the pioneer when the
Hmm.
Taekwondo moved from Korea to the war. And he's celebrating next month his 80th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And you go to my profile, you see a video he on his 80, and it's
Hmm.
different. So there is two people that I hear about neuroplasticity.
Yes.
One is him with the martial art movement, how we can stimulate our brain for creating new cells. And the
Hmm.
other ones that it was the first time that I hear about neuroplasticity was Dr. Batista with the identity theory, that
Yeah.
changing the way of thinking,
Hmm.
it can change even your DNA.
Absolutely. Yes. Have you ever read the book, The Holographic Universe?
No.
That's a phenomenal one on
Yes. So
quantum
that's
mechanics.
something, because what they discover in the DNA is that there is a DNA from your father and your mother
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
not going to change it.
Hmm.
But between those, because it's something like go like this, right? Between those, they found what they call the epigenome or
Uh-huh.
epigenome.
Epigenome. Yep.
Epigenome.
Epigenetics.
So the epigenome is the ones that modify the way you develop yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
It can be affected with many things, but at the same time, if you don't, if anyway, if affected negatively, it's going to go through the DNA to your successors. But if you change it, you can
Hmm.
change it, then you're going to be through your successors too, because it's going to be through inside, and that's is the
Absolutely. Hmm.
so that's a new science called epigenetics.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I learned about that in two ways: doing martial arts, the Choi Kwando, and doing the identity theory. So people use people like Jogues, like he's a good speaker. People use Stephanie in the uh, market of the people that like to eat and the food and the things like that and the personality. So we are very a variety of people. I'm
Mhm.
more wild.
Yeah, I'm
I
wild
break
too.
bricks. I do
Yeah,
this for bringing the same message that
yeah,
you are unique, that you already have a value, and that you are very important. I cannot do nothing to be important. If somebody don't love me,
absolutely.
if somebody don't accept me, if somebody don't recognize me, it
Mhm.
because that people doesn't have the capacity to
Capacity.
recognize
Mhm.
what I am. So that's not my
Exactly.
problem. That's
They
my
they
problem.
have they have it. They're just not accessing it. They're not allowing themselves to access, what makes them great. Because as you said, like everybody is great. Everybody is awesome, but you have to allow yourself to access it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We don't see. Sometimes we don't see the things as we see it. We see the things as we are. So we have
Right.
to take
Well,
care
yeah,
of
and that
how
happens
we
actually
are.
a lot. Right.
Yeah.
Being conscious, being intentional, living intentionally, making, intentional decisions.
Yes. So that's being in charge of your emotion
Mhm.
is a daily basis. It's a daily
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah, because
There
even
is
you and I aren't perfect at that. We fall out, we
no,
react.
but the problem, for example, I was telling somebody, yes, you can feel sad
Mhm.
sometimes.
Mhm.
You can feel mad sometimes, but and you can be crying and you can be depressed. Yes, but it's for how long you're going to be like that.
Right.
You
Is a
see, it's
choice. Is a
normal because
choice.
if nothing's going to put you in depression, you decide to be in depression because depression comes when you feel that something or someone take value from you. So that's not. We already know that that can happen. So you need to accept one of each two truths. If this can happen or that cannot happen. If you choose this, you're gonna be a slave.
Right.
If you choose this,
Mhm.
you're gonna be free. Which one? So whatever decision on the people, it doesn't matter for me. I'm a, I'm a
Right.
I'm a communicator.
Right. And you're
I help
strong in
people
who you
I
are.
help people to exercise their decision decision taking.
Yeah, and it's easy, for you at this point in your life. It wasn't 30 years ago when you were having your own challenges that had you questioning your own worth and value. But it's like, but once you're on that journey, guys, like once you're like it's an epiphany, and you're like, there is no turning back. Once the mind has been stretched by a new idea or concept, there is no conforming that into that box that you were in before.
Mhm. Yeah, some people tell me that I do extraordinary things,
Hmm.
and I said,
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
sounds good, thank you, but it's not that way. I'm
Right.
ordinary with an extraordinary way of thinking.
Yes.
You see, that's the difference.
I love that. I'm ordinary with an extraordinary way of thinking. My cat's walking over here. She just got excited. She's got excited.
Yes. So that's what we do. What I do. I'm very excited for the retreat.
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't wait to hug everybody
Oh, I know.
and change the
God,
energy. And yes, it's gonna be a great moment for retreat. The word say retreat. It's gonna be a retreat. It's gonna
it's
be
going
something that nobody can do for you, and you cannot do for nobody.
right. Well, Fernando, you have been a most excellent guest. This has been an empowered conversation faux show. Thank you again for coming on and Catherine, she said, yes, Steph. And we were talking about your autobiography and getting the book about, I'm a
Yes.
victim too, getting that ready and getting it published. It's so important for your work. I mean, you are, and you're out here, you're doing your work and you're making a huge impact, and it's
Yes, I'm
just
telling you,
amazing.
last year was very hard for me. The transition from Georgia and coming back to Texas, it was like a 6 months that I was like in a desert. But I came back with a lot of power. I started in December. Look at me, I lost already 24 pounds, and I am 54% of my goal. And I'm working on my best version in my 56.
Yeah.
So because there is a lot of things that I have to do, and it's all in a program,
Hmm.
So I need some time for finishes the book, but if only times you get times when you get the money for half the time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I have to create my wealthy aspect
And
again.
and it's emotional. I mean, especially like
Mhm.
the last 2 or 3 chapters that are left to write and mine are the ones that are so emotional, both positive and negative. That it's like, it's a lot to write your
Mhm.
story, tell your story. It's a lot of
Yes.
energy, and you can't, "Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna sit down and write today." I mean, it's like, because I mean, I take notes constantly in my phone, like I'm always speaking, "Oh, this chapter, oh, this chapter, oh, this chapter." And so I'm constantly doing that, but actually sitting down, like, 'cause I started writing the other day, and it was just like, "Wow, this is like," and you're
Yes.
drained.
And at this moment, that's the reason I'm concentrating my is one of my main focus at this moment. Is the I call it Viva la Vida, is live the life, is the well-being consulting program that I bring back alive this year, because I used to have Viva la Vida Nutrition Club, but then I changed the concept to Viva la
Mhm.
Vida Well-being Consulting. And because in order to put this in order, there is something that we need to take care, and it's the nutrition, and the
Yes.
supplementation, because this body, this machine, this engineer of body works with nutrition. If you don't have a good nutrition, this is not going to work good. You see, this is
Right,
not going to work
exactly.
good.
Exactly. You're gonna feel like
So
shit, you're gonna energy's
sometimes
low.
people in the spiritual or the mind aspect, they don't see the change like this. But sometimes people, the belief level start growing up when they see changes in their weight, in their skin, in
Mhm.
things that they're going to see changes. Say, oh,
Energy, your energy.
so that sense of goal, getting your goal, is very nice. So that's why I like martial arts, because martial arts, every 2 months you're testing,
Yeah,
and
it's a
you're learning
measure.
something new, and
It's a
and then you're testing, and then you're learning something new. And I have many experience all my life with that, in all ages, since kids from 3 to 5. I have students of 78, 79 years old, that they take classes with me online,
love it.
and they do the stretching with me, the breathing exercise, the movement, boom boom boom. And but at the same time, they need the nutrition, because this body, I have been a laboratory in my body all this life. I have tested everything. In 2012, 10 years ago, 46, it was my best version of 46. I step up in bodybuilding platform,
Mhm.
in they call the men's physique division, and I was the only one of 46 in a group of 18 to 25 years old kids.
I love it.
And I get the sixth place. But for me, it was I won,
Hell
because I
yeah.
saw my body, and people make a standing ovation to me, because I was the only old one.
Exactly. My dad's like that. Like, he's in his 70s, and He gets around people like he goes to the gym. He's always worked out and taken care of himself. Like I've never known him not to. And again, the more you do, the more you can do, physically and mentally. And people are like, he gets around like a 40-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I have that's something that I enjoy very very much because
I do too.
uh, it's good to get paid for being healthy and looks younger.
Yes,
So say, how
absolutely.
you look? I get paid for that.
I get
What?
paid for that.
What you get for that? Yeah, I get paid for that. So more younger I look, more money I get. More healthy I look, more money I get. So it's nice.
Absolutely. Well, Fernando, it has been wonderful. I've got someone coming here in 10 minutes.
All right.
Um, but it has been
Thank you very much
amazing.
for me. It
Yeah,
was
thank
very
you.
enjoy it. I like your energy. I like your
Thank
style.
you.
You're a
Thank you.
colorful, powerful
Thank
woman
you.
that has a good projection when you talk. So
Thank you.
anything.
Thank you.
So we're gonna meet each other.
Yes! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't even riveting, just riveting. Pure joy. Well, guys, you stay right here. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. And thank you so much, everyone, Catherine and Christina. And we had a Facebook user. I'll see who they are when I, get into my group. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed this conversation. This was amazing. And see you next Wednesday. And yeah, guys, Ultimate Quantum Retreat. Even if you can't make it in person, sign up for one of our Zoom tickets and you'll be able to watch the entire conference. And I know that what you're raffling is an in-person like touch aromatherapy session, but most everybody is given away as raffling a complimentary session of what they do. You can still win the prizes. You can still be a part of the conference. It's going to be amazing. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Toodaloo, and see you next Wednesday.